Most of the best prepping gear videos that you'll see on YouTube are basically just recycled junk. You've probably seen them 100 times, especially these days with AI taking over YouTube. You get the ferro rods, the MREs, the flashlights, right? All those things you've probably seen 100 times. The reason you watch these videos is maybe there's one thing in there that you haven't thought about. Over my decade plus of doing this, I have used and tested quite a few things, more than I can put into this video. But I do want to go over some that you may not have thought about, some that you may not have even heard of, and some that actually surprised me. I tried them out and I still use them or have them to this day. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. And I've broken this down into a few different categories to sort of keep everything organized. And the first one is cooking and heat. In this category, we've got the jet burners, these backpacking stoves, and there are a few different kinds of these. These are absolutely great for boiling water quickly. They're fuel efficient. They're not going to, you're going to be limited to what you can cook in these. But from a preparedness perspective, these are great because of the fuel storage and because if you've got freeze-dried food, mountain house meals, something like that, you can heat these up and cook these with relatively low energy and in a short period of time. And then you've got one that I just wanted to try out, and that is the Dietz lantern that also has a cooker on top. And this was something that I just wanted to see how well a cooker would work. And I think these are great in preparedness because you always want to get those dual purpose items. So if you're using that fuel to get a little bit of light, maybe even just a little bit of heat, why not use that to boil some water if you need to, or heat some food up? These work surprisingly well, the heat coming off the top of these. So while these Dietz lantern cookers aren't something that you would want to depend on solely for cooking, it is nice to have that option. Most of the time I use this and I don't use the cooker, but it's nice to know that I have that there if I need it. Now, one of the best options for heating in a disaster or an emergency situation are the Mr. Buddy heaters. And I've done a video on this in the past, how this is basically your best option when it comes to heating small areas. You can also use this for a few different other things. Like I said, these multi-purpose items, you could use this to cook with, and you can hook these up to larger canisters for those extended periods of time that you need them. So a Mr. Buddy heater really is one of those game-changing supplies that I think everyone should have. Even just the small ones will work better than nothing at all. The next one I've got is tools that actually earn their weight. And the reason I say earn their weight is because these are things that you're going to be carrying on you or in your bug out bag. And the first one is the Gerber armbar multi-tool that I use all the time. And the reason I like this compared to other multi-tools is because this is more compact. When you're talking about everyday carry stuff, I don't carry a whole lot with me. I don't have a multi-tool on my belt. So this is nice and convenient to put in my pocket. And I'll also show you another way to carry these a little bit later in the video. Another item that a lot of people will probably think is gimmicky, and I thought this myself at one point, but the folding shovels, these quote-unquote tactical shovels or survival shovels that you can put in the back seat of your car. Yes, there is a gimmicky aspect to these, but I'll tell you what, I've got one in my car and one in Lisa's car, and I've used mine more than just a couple of times. These do come in handy, and yes, the more moving parts you have, the more likely it is to fail, but these do come in pretty handy, and they're small and easy to store. You throw them in your back seat or your trunk, and you don't really have to worry about them. The tactical aspects of these, I've got one that's got a folding saw and a compass and things like that. Those are basically useless, but the shovel itself is something you would want to have in your vehicle, and something that actually surprised me at how often I actually use this shovel, and it's something that I do keep in my truck. And sort of along the same lines is these silky folding saws, and there are a number of different types of folding saws. The Ozark Trails you can get at Walmart are basically they'll work, but I've done some tests on a few different types, and the silky folding saws really do work the best. So it is worth that extra few bucks that you would pay. And these are something that you can keep in your bug out bag, you can keep in your vehicle. But honestly, we use these around the house all the time for trimming trees and hedges and things like that. So it is something that, yes, it is a preparedness supply, but you can also use it on a daily basis. If it is something you have in your bug out bag and you use it for these trees, just make sure you put it back in your bug out bag. Something else I really like is Titan Survivor cord, and this is basically paracord on steroids kind of. It's got 6 different types of cord inside, not just the nylon strands. You've got fire cord, you've got some wire, some fishing line, so this is something really cool to have. Now, you don't need rolls and rolls of this. You could get 100 feet of this and you're probably good. You can use it for a number of different things. Shoelaces, you could make paracord bracelets. I use it for my zipper pulls and things like that. A lot of things you could use this for, but just like paracord, the longer the strand you have, the more useful it's going to be when you're thinking about things like fishing line and even wire for maybe making snare traps and things like that. But this Titan paracord is one of those that, yes, it's got that little gimmicky factor to it, but honestly, it really is worth the money to have at least a little bit of this and then, use your regular paracord for everything else. Now, I mentioned with the multi-tool that I don't like to put them on my belt. I don't carry a lot of stuff in my pocket. One way to solve that problem of all these little tiny things that we have in preparedness that you can have with you is an EDC pouch. I've got a couple that I really like. I like the Viper Aid pouches, and this is another reason I got that really small multi-tool, because it fits right in there. Some of the smaller pocket knives will fit in there, and you can get a few things, and you don't have to carry this around with you all over the place. You can put this in your pocket. I've also got a Maxpedition EDC case, which is a little bit thicker, but you can still put that in your pocket. My Maxpedition EDC case usually goes in the middle console of my truck, and if I need to bug out or get home, anything like that, and I'm doing it on foot, I can grab that little case, throw it in my bug out bag, throw it in my pocket, and I'm good to go. So these are nice if you don't like carrying a whole lot of stuff in your pocket and you just want to make sure everything is there in nice and neat in one spot. Your ferro rods, your lighters, your pen and paper, all of those things that you'd want to put in an EDC kit. The next category I've got is power and electronics. And moving back into your vehicle, your car or truck, I really like the compressor jump starters, and there are a number of different kinds of these. We both have one in each of our vehicles, and these are really nice and convenient, not only if you need to jump start your vehicle or somebody else's, but if your tires are going flat and you need to just get those filled up a little bit before you can get to a gas station or get that tire fixed. They're nice and convenient that way. A lot of these also have USB ports, so you could use these as a charger for other smaller electronics that you may have in your truck or car. If you've got the small battery packs or anything like that, you can use that as a charger. So these are really nice and convenient, and something that just 20 years ago was unheard of. You didn't have things like this, but these days, because of battery technology, we do, and these are low cost enough that we should take advantage of these and have them in our vehicles. Something else along the same lines is a small power station. I mentioned the battery banks, but something small like a Juice Go from Bogue RV that has an AC outlet on it would be nice and convenient in your vehicle. These are thin and low profile. You could tuck these right under your seat and you'd have that extra power when you needed it. Let's say that you have that jump starter and it's not quite charged up. If you had this little charger, you could charge that up and be able to jump start your vehicle. Again, other things that you may have in your vehicle, batteries, flashlights, Baofeng radios, walkie-talkies, things like that, that may be in your vehicle that maybe they've been in there for a year and a half and the batteries have died on those. You have one of these power stations with these LiFePO4 batteries in there that last forever, you'll be able to recharge those. And another one that should have been with my EDC stuff, but it goes in this category as well. And yes, I'm going to talk about flashlights, but this is one particular flashlight that I really like, and that is the Streamlight flashlight. I have tried, and I'll probably try 100 more, but I've tried a bunch of different flashlights for my everyday carry, and this is the one I've landed on because it is really nice and compact. You can charge it really easily, and it lasts for a very long time compared to some of the other flashlights I've tried. It's got a couple of different modes. It's really nice and thin, basically the size of a half of a pen or pencil. But it really is that flashlight that I've landed on, and it is the one that I take with me everywhere. It is the one that fits in these little EDC cases really well. And even if I don't have it in those EDC cases, I can put it in my pocket and it doesn't bother me like some of the other things do. So in my pocket, I can have a pocket knife, this flashlight, and a lighter, and I'm good to go for the most part. Next, we move on to communications, and I've got a couple in here. One is the Retivus radios that I have. These are your basic walkie-talkies. They are not the GMRS. They're not ham radios or anything like that, although Baofeng UV5Rs are a good radio as well. But these are nice for around the home, around the property, talking with a group and keeping everybody in the loop. Say you're in an emergency situation and things are going on around the neighborhood, you want to be able to communicate. Or if you're in a bug out situation where you've got a couple of different cars, say your kids are behind you or your wife, you're split up, you can communicate between vehicles if these cell phones are down and things like that. So these are nice to have and something that it's fun to play with. It's great if you're out camping, and from a preparedness perspective, these are low cost enough and will be very useful in any of these emergency situations. And sort of along the same lines of all of these communication devices that we can have, you've also got Faraday bags, and I really like the Mission Darkness Faraday bags. Now, a lot of people think the EMP threat is really overhyped, and a lot of people do take it seriously. I take it seriously. But these bags are useful not only for that situation, but just for blocking these signals and, so people can't track you and things like that. These are very nice to have, and they don't have to be the really large ones. You can get a duffel bag style Faraday Mission Darkness bag that you can put a lot of stuff in. You can get something a little bit smaller to put your ham radio equipment in, or your walkie-talkies, things like that you don't want to get ruined if something does happen. And also in your vehicle, you've got the really small ones. You can put your cell phones and things like that in, just to not get tracked when you're out in public and don't want to be. The next one I have here is health and sanitation. And the first one I have here are the RZ masks. And you may or may not have heard of these. There are a few different types. I really like the M2 masks, but recently they've even got better ones that are more robust. But these are really nice because they come with the activated carbon filters. And if you're in an emergency where say it's an earthquake where there's a lot of dust and debris, wildfires, things like that, these are going to be really nice to have. These are not the nuclear gas masks where they're going to filter out everything, so don't expect them to do that. But I use them all the time when I'm cleaning out the chicken coop, or I'm moving the horse manure to the back pasture. This is nice to make sure I'm not breathing all of that stuff in. It's just kind of gross to think about. But these are really nice and convenient, and they fold up really well, and you can put them in your bug out bag. You can put them in your vehicle, and they don't take up a whole lot of room, sort of like the N95 masks. You've got to be careful they don't get crushed. With these ones, it doesn't matter. So these RZ masks are really nice to have. They're reasonably priced. You can get a couple of them and put them wherever you need them. Something else with this health and sanitation that a lot of people don't think about, and you may have heard of this first one, but it's the 5-gallon bucket toilets. I sell some over at My Survival Foods that have the whole pack all together, everything you would need with this 5-gallon bucket setup, from the 5-gallon bucket to the lid to the stuff that goes inside of it. You could also make your own. You could get the 5-gallon bucket lid and put that on any bucket you have. A little bit of cat litter, some trash bags, and you've got your 5-gallon bucket toilet all set up and ready to go. This is one of those things that hopefully you would never use, but it is going to be nice to have if you do need it. Another option, because I've got my daughters that will not use the 5-gallon bucket, I've got the Campa Potty also. This is, especially if you have small children that aren't tall enough for that bucket, this is a little bit lower profile, or those children and the family members that just don't feel comfortable using a 5-gallon bucket. This is more like the normal everyday toilet. These are great for RVs, for camping and things like that, because it seems more sanitary than that 5-gallon bucket would be, and it seems more natural. These are more expensive than those buckets, so if this is something that you would use a few times a year, maybe you go this route. Or if it's something that you wouldn't, maybe you don't. Or again, if it's your family member, this is the only thing they're going to use, you may want to have one of these. Now, I've got a couple here that are sort of the unique gear. I don't know that they fit into, the categories that I've got here today. The first one is the mini crossbow. And this one, honestly, I picked this up just to see. I was curious how well this would work and if it was just all hype. It's actually pretty fun, and I can see different situations where this would be useful. It would take a whole lot of training and a whole lot of getting used to, but it could be used for small game and things like that. And I know a lot of people say, hey, good luck with that, shooting yourself a squirrel. But the same thing can be said for snare traps, learning how to build snare traps and doing things like that. It's highly unlikely that's going to work, but if it is an option, it doesn't hurt to have something like this. This could also, I don't know that it could be used for self-defense, but I suppose so, although I would be very careful with that. Something else that could be used for self-defense, which is in this category as well, is a ViperTech stun gun. And there are a number of different types of stun guns. And keep in mind, stun guns are different than tasers. Tasers are the ones that the cops use that shoot out the probes. Stun guns are the ones that it's the closer contact that you need to contact the skin. My wife has one of these in her purse. We've got one in the house. In this same category, you've got pepper sprays. Not everything needs to be a lethal option, although that, I think that's a smart option as well, at least for me. But if you're not a fan of guns and you don't have any, these less than lethal options are going to do the trick for you. And having a stun gun, this ViperTech stun gun is a low enough cost and works really well. It keeps a charge for a very long time. And it is one we've used. Lisa's had hers for a couple of years now. Like I said in the beginning, I could probably do 3 or 4 videos just on the stuff that I've tried and tested and bought just to see how well it works. Most of this stuff looks really good on paper or with the advertising and their claims on websites, what it can do and what it can't. And when you get it, it sort of falls short. And that's why I like to do these and buy some of these things, test these out, and show you what I think actually works. If you have any thoughts or any ideas, any items that you've tried out that I didn't mention here in this video, make sure and leave it in the comments below and let everyone else know. Or if you have any experience with anything I talked about today, make sure and leave it down in the comment section below. With that, I am done here today, everyone. Make sure and hit like and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Also hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I do new videos, get an email about that. But with that, I am done here today. Take care and prepare, everyone. We will talk to you all later.